welcome Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan.
皆様ようこそお越しくださいました。
We will be welcoming many heads of state, thousands of delegates, for the very first Ticad to be held on African soil. With the very gracious help of Prime Minister Abe, Ticad has finally come home, and it is about time.
Three years ago, during Ticad 5, many of the African leaders wished that Ticad will be here, hosted in the African continent. And I completely agreed. And with the leadership of President Kenyatta, here we are, being able to host the Ticad 6 here in Africa.
Africa still has not lived up to its potential. We need to put our heads together to see how we can hasten the industrialization of the continent and how we can avoid the missteps of those who have previously walked this path.
As the private sector, we are indeed very pleased that Ticad is being held here in Africa for the very first time, signaling the continent's full ownership of the process.
Our goal is to end extreme poverty and to boost shared prosperity for the bottom 40%. We have no chance of achieving that goal unless Africa grows and prospers at a rate that maybe even we can't imagine. We think it can happen with leaders like President Kenyatta. We know it can happen. Get in on the deal now. The earlier you get in, the better it will be for you.
That is why at the African Development Bank we have launched what's called the New Deal on Energy for Africa to support African countries to achieve universal access to electricity within the next 10 years. And Mr. President, I would like to particularly commend you for the work you're doing here. It's phenomenal what Kenya is doing, and we are very proud, both us and the World Bank and everybody else, to be able to support you in what you're doing here. I understand that in the next 2 years or so, you expect to be at 80% or so in terms of access.
And I just want to pay tribute to President Kenyatta. President Kenyatta is a visionary leader, widely recognized throughout the world as a person who is a leader among the leaders of Africa. He's been committed to good governance, and I think that just having this conference here today, after Garissa, after the terrorist attacks, tells you also that he's tackling the most difficult problems like extremism and terrorism. That's why Kenya is one of the largest borrowers of the World Bank Group. That's why we continue to grow our efforts here in Kenya. When you have someone like President Kenyatta, it's important to invest.
経団連会長をはじめ75社が同行しています。